Thank you for taking a few moments to view our Coffee with Manitou session from August 20th, 2014, titled Discover Manitou Action Patterns. Coffee with Manitou is a 1-hour monthly webinar session bringing Manitou users together for training and to share valuable information. For this Coffee with Manitou session, we took a closer look at the Manitou Action Patterns and Action Patterns Plus. We also condensed the Coffee with Manitou session down into 7 smaller videos. This video is part 1 of the Coffee with Manitou session. We start this video introducing action patterns and the contact command.
One of the things I discovered in the time that I've been doing this training is that a lot of the sites that I've been to that have been on Manitou for a while, we're still using a lot of the same default behaviors for alarm handling. What I mean by that is if we go to our default action patterns, the things that happen by default when an alarm comes in, many of our very old customers, the very first few customers that we had on Manitou, had this contact customer using call list number, and there was a number corresponding to the priority of the alarm. And the way that this works in a practical sense is that if you have an action pattern that says call a call list, well, that created a need for data entry to create a call list with that same number, because it referred to, in this example, call list 2. And then we had to say, well, because it was a priority 2 alarm, that we call the police first, and then we call the site second, and then Mary, and then John, and so on and so forth. So we put the order for that call list, the order that people are intended to be called. And that works out fine. That's exactly moving across from, especially those of you that came from Theos, it's a direct move across from what we were using in Theos to do all this. But we found that obviously for every single account, if you have to go in and create a call list, that's a bit more work than is actually necessary, because we already have, on this account, we already have an entry here that says who the authorities are, what the telephone number of the site is, and any of the contacts that are in here. And we can even change the order that these people are in by shuffling them around here in this list. So one of the first things that when I start talking to people about the action patterns is, let's talk about changing it from the call list. We're going to just get rid of the call list, so I'm just going to edit, highlighting that line, and actually getting rid of the line that refers to the call list. And of course, this is going to vary for each different site. There's going to be usually contacting an authority of some kind. In this case, likely the police, because G2 by default is what's used for the panic and hold up and duress alarms. And then quite often the site, which is contact customer. And then assuming that you've got in your database, when you've added new contacts on the accounts, that you've labeled everybody the same, either contact or key holder, you can say contact customer contact, which will refer to what label the people have here. In this case, actually, I have key holder for all these, so actually I need to change my behavior here. So I'm saying contact everybody who's listed as a key holder. So that would give you the police and then the site, and then the people that are listed as a key holder on the account in the order that they're listed here. And there's the first 6 action patterns, G1, G2, G3, all the way up through G6. You can set up pretty much the same behavior and get the same results, but you don't have to go in any longer and create call lists. There's still a time and a place for call lists, but it's going to end up being not on every account anymore. So that's the first thing that I like to talk about when it comes to the action patterns is, it kind of seems like the most simple thing, but it is actually the most simple thing to be able to point at the contact type and not make you do any extra work during data entry process on the accounts. So that was the first thing there.
This concludes part 1 of the Coffee with Manitou session. Register today for next month's session at boldgroup.com and check out any upcoming videos on our YouTube page. For more information, contact your account manager today at sales@boldgroup.com.